Okay, some of you requested a video on solving literal equations, so let's go over some. Okay, so the first problem, d equals 2r, and you always want to see what they want you to solve for it, so it's solve for r. So we find r is right here, and we want to get r by itself. So notice it's 2 times r. You're going to undo that by dividing by 2. Okay, so then we have on this side d over 2 equals, these cancel because any number over itself equals 1, and there, r is all by itself. Let's try the next one. S equals d over t, and we want to solve for d. Well, we want to get d by itself, and we also want to get rid of this denominator right here. So remember we learned when we were solving regular equations, you get rid of your denominator. To get rid of your denominator, you multiply by it. So that cancels, and that gives us d st, or ts. So d is by itself. Another example, v equals length times width times height, and we want w by itself. So this is multiplication all the way through. So let's divide by what we don't want. We don't want L and we don't want H. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. This cancels, W is by itself, and we have volume LH. Let's try another one. V equals pi r squared H. Let's solve for r. All multiplication, r is right there, so we're going to divide by pi h on both sides. So this cancels, so we have v over pi h equals r squared. Oh boy, we need to find r though. So if we find the square root of r, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So what's the square root of r? What times itself? R times r is r squared, so r equals, and you leave this alone, v over pi h. Let's try another one. I equals PRT. Let's solve for r. Undo what you don't want. We don't want p and t. Cancel, 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 cancel. R equals I over pt. Next one. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And let's solve this one for h. I'm just going to put a circle around it. It's for h. So the first step would be, let's get rid of that fraction. Okay, so you always multiply by its reciprocal, or in this case, we're just going to multiply it by 3. We could say 3 over 1 if we want to. So we have 3v equals, this cancels, right? And that leaves us with pi r squared h, and we want h by itself. So we just need to divide by what we don't want. Cancels. Okay. Let's try another one. Surface area equals 1/2 LP plus B. All right, and this one we're going to solve for P. So again, we want to get rid of that fraction, so let's multiply both sides by 2. So we get, let's try something different. Yeah, because we have the plus there. Okay, let's scratch that. That's not going to work because we have a plus. the last one we could do it. Let's go back. The last one we could do it because it was all multiplication, right? Okay? And there's no addition and subtraction. But as soon as I started doing that one, it's like, oh, wait a minute. We have an addition here. So let's try that again. 1/2 LP plus B, and we want to solve for P. So we have to get that B to the other side first. Let me use another color. So I'm going to subtract B, and I'm going to subtract B. So we have SA minus B equals 1/2 LP. Now, since this is all multiplication, we can get rid of that 2, or the half. So multiply both sides by 2. So then we end up with 2 parentheses SA minus B equals, this cancels, LP. And we're still trying to get P by itself. So it's multiplied by L, divide by L, divide by L, and P equals 2 times SA minus B over L. Had to squish that one in there, huh? All right, let's look at the next one. A equals 1/2 H times B1. Oop, that didn't look like a 1, it looks like an I. B1 plus B2. And we want to solve for B2. Okay, so let's check this out. Fraction, and we have all multiplication. So let's get rid of the fraction. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. So that's 2A equals, let's cancel this out, H B1 plus B2. Okay, and still got to work our way to B2, but we can get rid of this multiplication right here. So let's divide both sides by H. So then we have 2A over H equals B1 plus B2. And now we want to get B1 by itself. So we want to get B2 by itself. So we're going to subtract B1, which would give us, let's extend this page here. I can't. So we would have 2A over H minus B sub 1 equals B sub 2. Okay, we've got about 4 more and that's it. Okay, so the next one is y equals mx plus b, and we're going to solve this one for m. So let's subtract b. So you have y minus b equals mx. Divide both sides by x so we can get m by itself. Okay. All right, the next one. E equals mc squared, and let's solve for m. So m's here, we've got to divide both sides by c squared. Cancels, so we have e over c squared equals m. F equals 9 over 5c, or 9/5 c, plus 32, and we want to solve for c. So c's right here. That means we need to get rid of this 32. So let's subtract that. So then we have f minus 32 equals 9/5 c. And I want to solve for c, so let's multiply by the reciprocal to get rid of this fraction. So 5/9. This whole thing gets multiplied by 5/9. So we're going to say 5 over 9. And if you don't have these parentheses here, then your answer is wrong. Equals C. Last example, and hopefully this will help you so you can study for your test. This one you need to solve for a. So let's get rid of the t first. So multiply by t, or get rid of that denominator. So I'm going to say pt equals 100a. And now we're going to divide by 100 on both sides because we want a by itself. So a equals pt over 100. Okay, so hopefully that's enough practice for you to help you for your test. Next class, we'll do our finish our scavenger hunt, go over the problems, and then you'll be taking your test on literal equations. Have a good afternoon.